Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in because today we're tackling a massive, incredibly common engineering puzzle in the off-grid and renewable energy world. We are going to figure out the absolute best solar panel size for a 200 amp hour battery system. Now, I know what you're thinking. It sounds like it should be a totally straightforward calculation, right? Just a little basic math. Well, as we're going to see, there is a whole lot more beneath the surface. So I want to pose this direct question to you right off the bat. What size solar panel do you actually need for a 200 amp hour battery? Most folks jumping into DIY solar projects or even designing full systems get this answer completely wrong. And honestly, they don't get it wrong because they're bad at math. They get it wrong because the simplified solar math floating around the internet has a fatal flaw. It's a massive trap, and we're going to fix it today. Here's our roadmap for the explainer. 1. The solar sizing trap. 2. Unlocking true battery energy. 3. Real-world solar math. 4. Calculating by voltage. And finally, 5. Controller and safety limits. Once we debunk all that bad advice, we're going to show you exactly how to apply the real math and do it safely. Okay, let's dive right into this. Part 1. The solar sizing trap, and exactly why that simple internet math completely fails us. If you poke around online forums, the most common simplified advice tells you to just multiply battery voltage by amp hours, estimate your daily sun, and divide. Sounds incredibly easy, right? But that magic math completely ignores real-world factors. It's like trying to fill a leaky bucket without accounting for the holes. We're talking about charge controller losses, panel temperature losses, because panels get hot and lose efficiency, wiring voltage drops, and even just regular old dust and dirt on your glass. It also totally skips over seasonal changes in sunlight and differences in battery chemistry. So what's the bottom line here? Ignoring all these real-world factors leads directly to undersized solar arrays. And when you have an undersized array, you get chronic undercharging, and ultimately you completely ruin your expensive batteries. Which brings us to part 2, unlocking true battery energy. This is where we reveal the missing variable that trips up so many system designers. Here is the major trap. Amp hours alone are completely meaningless without knowing the voltage. I'll say that again. You absolutely cannot size a solar array based just on a 200 amp hour sticker. To understand what your battery can actually hold, we have to calculate the battery energy in watt hours. Watt hours are calculated simply by multiplying voltage by amp hours. This right here is the professional engineering standard for measuring true stored capacity, and honestly, it changes everything about our solar math. Think about it this way. Imagine 3 different batteries, all of them rated for 200 amp hours, but look at the actual stored energy. At 12 volts, you've got 2,400 watt hours. Jump to a 24-volt system, and suddenly you have 4,800 watt hours. Move all the way up to a 48-volt system, and you are sitting on a massive 9,600 watt hours of stored energy. The 200 amp hour rating stayed exactly the same across the board, right? But the actual energy you need to replace with your solar panels just quadrupled along with the voltage. So how do we properly replace that energy? In part 3, we're going to tackle real-world solar math. This is the exact engineering approach the professionals use to guarantee year-round reliability. Now, what's really cool about this is how straightforward the actual professional formula is once you have the right pieces in place. Step 1, we calculate our true battery energy in watt hours, which we just figured out how to do. Step 2, we factor in our peak sun hours. That's just the average effective sunlight for your specific geographical location. Step 3, and listen, this is the absolute magic step. We apply an 80% system efficiency. We literally divide our battery energy by our sun hours multiplied by 0.8. You absolutely must account for that roughly 20% system inefficiency caused by controller losses, heat, and wire resistance. Now, if you live in a perfect vacuum, sure, go ahead and ignore this. But out here in the real world, skipping this step means your system is going to fall flat. All right, and part 4, calculating by voltage. Let's run through some actual sizing examples. We're going to apply this exact engineering formula to our 3 different 200 amp hour voltage scenarios. And just to keep things consistent, for all of these, we'll assume a location that gets an average of 5 peak sun hours a day. First up, the 12-volt 200 amp hour battery. Remember, that is 2,400 watt hours of energy. When we divide that by our 5 sun hours and factor in that crucial 80% efficiency rule, we get a requirement of exactly 600 watts. So a practical, professional design is going to recommend a range of 600 to 800 watts of solar panels. To put that into perspective, just slapping 2 standard 400-watt panels on your setup would ensure really comfortable, reliable charging performance, even compensating for those occasionally cloudy days. Okay, now let's jump up to the 24-volt 200 amp hour battery. That's 4,800 watt hours of energy. Run the exact same formula, and boom, the needed array size doubles. You need a recommended range of 1,200 to 1,500 watts of solar. Choosing the higher end of this range is super smart because it allows for much faster recovery after deep battery discharges, which ensures superior performance all year long. Finally, let's take a look at the big one, the 48-volt 200 amp-hour system. We are replacing a massive 9,600 watt-hours here. Doing the math, our minimum practical solar array scales all the way up to 2,400 watts. Most professional installers would select somewhere in the range of 2,400 to 3,000 watts. This just perfectly proves how wildly the required solar panel size scales based on voltage alone, even when the amp-hour rating is totally identical. No way around it. Now, you might be wondering, why on earth would anyone use 48 volts if it requires such a massive solar array just to charge it? Well, consider running a really heavy 2,400-watt load, like an AC unit or some power tools. A 12-volt system will pull roughly 200 amps of current to handle that. That is an absolutely huge amount of current. But at 48 volts, the current drops all the way down to just 50 amps. Dramatically lower current means you get to use much smaller cables, you generate way less heat, you experience less voltage drop, and you have substantially higher overall electrical safety. That is exactly why large installations almost always use higher voltages, because melting your cables is, well, generally frowned upon. Which brings us to our final and honestly, perhaps most critical section. Part 5, Controller and Safety Limits. Setting the boundaries. Because at this point, the common impulse for a lot of DIYers is to just go out, buy the absolute largest panels they can afford, and blast the battery to guarantee a charge. Please, whatever you do, do not do that. You have to remember that every single component in your system has a strict operational limit. First off, let's talk battery chemistry. Not all 200 amp-hour batteries can accept the exact same charging current. Lead-acid batteries generally require much lower, moderate charging currents. If you throw a massive, oversized solar array at them, you can literally boil and ruin them. Conversely, lithium iron phosphate, or LiFeSO4 batteries, can typically accept much higher charge rates. Matching your total array size to your specific battery chemistry's maximum charging limits is absolutely critical. Let's run through these stark risk points right now, because DIY builders miss these all the time. Number 1, undersized arrays. We talked about this. It leads to chronic undercharging and sulfation, which is a death sentence for lead-acid batteries. Number 2, controller overload. If you connect a 1,000-watt array to a charge controller rated for only 30 amps, you are going to face overheating, system shutdowns, and total equipment failure. Number 3, missing battery fuses. Failing to install proper fuses between the panel and the battery creates extreme fault currents and a literal, actual fire risk. Do not skip the fuses. And number 4, incorrect VOC or open circuit voltage calculations. If you string too many panels together in series, a cold winter morning can cause the voltage to spike and permanently destroy your controller. You absolutely must respect these electrical safety gaps. So to summarize everything we've uncovered today, when you're calculating the solar panel size for a 200 amp-hour battery, you have got to consider the battery voltage, the real-world system losses, and the specific charging requirements of your chemistry. Using the proper engineering approach we just walked through, rather than relying on that oversimplified internet math, guarantees your power system is going to work safely, it's going to charge fully, and it will significantly extend the lifespan of your expensive batteries year-round. So I want to leave you with this to think about as we wrap up. What battery voltage are you currently using for your projects? And using the real engineering formulas we just covered, do you actually have the exact solar array size required to reliably charge it? I highly recommend taking a fresh look at your own setup, running the real math, and making sure your system is truly built to last. Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and keep learning.